I know I'm not the only one that my blood is boiling right now.
A lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know
this,
this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico.
And they think they can get away with it by saying that it was a joke, but they also joke about us Latinos like to pop babies out. Who do you think you are? You obviously don't know what Puerto Rico is, and you've never been there. I'm so mad. I wonder what is Nicky Jam and what is Anuel thinking right now. They should be ashamed of themselves because they both endorsed Donald Trump. There's this clown who supposedly is a comedian, so he has no idea of what he's talking about. And if you want to know more about Puerto Rico, you should Google El Verano del 2019. The entire country came together to kick out the governor at that time, Ricky Rosselló. So you should educate yourself. And do you know what's the garbage that float? You don't know who we are. And I don't never ever talk about politics, but what's happening here is Donald Trump, you're digging your head into a hole because you're losing the votes of all of Latinos, and especially us Puerto Ricans. We want nothing to do with you. We don't forget what happened after Hurricane Maria. You went to Puerto Rico to insult us. You keep insulting our intelligence. You keep treating us like we're animals, but we're not. Us Puerto Ricans, we're smart people, we're brilliant people, we're hardworking people, and we know what we want for our country.
I just wanted to tell you that I moved here in 1981 from Puerto Rico, and I want you to know that Puerto Rico stands behind you, and Puerto Rico loves you.
Oh, we love it. I know it very well, and we helped you through a lot of bad storms. You were there when I brought the hospital ship against everyone's advice, and we got it in there and took care of a lot of people, but I think no president's done more for Puerto Rico than I have. So thank you. That's really nice of you to say. Appreciate it. Thank you, Mayor.
Social media is still going crazy over a joke told by Tony Hinchcliffe, which is pretty much stating at a Republican rally with Donald Trump, that was pretty much stating that Puerto Rico is a floating country of trash and garbage.
A lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay.
I do believe that this was not the correct platform to have a roasting comedian on, but I think there's a topic that needs to be spoken about. I just want to throw this in there. I have not seen too many Puerto Ricans step to the plate when my community is going through something, but guess what? I'm going to be a bigger man, and I'm going to one-up them and use my platform for them to come on here and have a voice and state their mixed opinions, because I want to tell you right now, amongst them, there are definitely mixed opinions on this topic, and I wanted to at least have a video that was separate from what mainstream media is putting out there, to have them come on there with mixed opinions on this. But before we get into this video, please do me a favor, hit that like button and apply pressure to that subscribe button. Let's go.
So as I'm sitting here in my car waiting for my kids at school, this whole Trump thing at Madison Square Garden with this comedian, where he says that there's a floating island of trash. It's called Puerto Rico. At first, I was like, ooh, crap. Talking shit. And I was like, you know, there's a friendly rivalry between, almost like a family rivalry between Mexicans and Puerto Ricans. That's just a given. Sometimes we don't like each other. Sometimes we hate each other. But when you put us up against a wall, it's like, hey, we're all Latinos. So it's like, all right, let me check why the fuck this guy is calling Puerto Rico a trash island. So I go on and I research Google. What is trash problem in Puerto Rico? Bro, the guy I type that into freaking Google, and you'll see that they've had an issue since like 2017, like before. They have so many dumps they can't get rid of garbage. They have, like, since 2017, they've been trying to do something since then, probably since before, but the first article I read was like, hey, you know, there's an issue since 2017. Apparently, this, our president and our VP had sent like $10 million a while back to help alleviate this stress. Well, from researching and seeing these freaking articles, Puerto Rico is corrupt. I was like, or it has been corrupt. So none of this money was going to help with this problem. You know, it wasn't to clean up Puerto Rico. And then in recent events, like, you know, world-changing events, you know, freaking hurricanes, acts of God, there's been more garbage washing up on the island, on the beaches. You know, so these articles say, not me, you know, Republican, Democrat, liberal, you know, whatever. It's the research. There's a whole bunch of articles from a whole bunch of places, first-hand accounts from people in Puerto Rico, people in Bayamon, people in Contora or something like that. But apparently, landfills is a big thing. The comedian fucked up by not addressing. It's like, hey, these presidents just send money to shit and they don't make sure that shit's actually being done. Like, even I know that Puerto Rico's, like, you know, the people running Puerto Rico, not Puerto Ricans themselves, are fucking corrupt as shit.
Somebody said there was a comedian that joked about Puerto Rico or something, and I have no idea who he was. Never saw him, never heard of him, and don't want to hear of him. But I have no idea. They put a comedian in, which everybody does. You throw comedians in. You don't vet them and go crazy. It's nobody's fault. But somebody said some bad things. Now, what they've done is taken somebody that has nothing to do with the party, has nothing to do with us, said something, and they try and make a big deal. But I don't know who it is. I don't even know who put him in.
That just put it in the bag for us. He literally just gave us the win.
If our island is garbage, never mind those election people they're running for it. For me, they are garbage too.
I don't think he really understands what he's talking about when he's talking about Puerto Rico's garbage.
It's a joke that gave a real bad taste in my mouth because I'm Puerto Rican.
Obviously, he doesn't know history and how much Puerto Ricans have done for this country, including serving in the military.
Todos somos humanos, todos somos hermanos. No es para estar hablando así, ¿me entiendes? Ese es un racismo.
He said it in the wrong way, wrong timing, wrong place.
Pero a él le falta respeto a la comunidad boricua, ¿tú me entiendes? Y para mí, eso fue una falta de respeto y ética.
He has no idea how hard the Latin community is about to come after and support Kamala Harris.
It is egregious, insulting, and in my view, it can cost President Trump his re-election if this is not addressed appropriately. Look, our people are far from garbage. We are the opposite. Our people are kind, gentile, creative, talented. Puerto Rico is the connector of the Americas, both culturally and geographically. Puerto Ricans have a legacy of patriotism with the United States going to all of the armed conflicts since 1898, and we are proud U.S. citizens. So let me be very clear. These statements need to be rejected by everybody. And I understand that it is a comedian, but it is quite different when a comedian makes a statement in a comedy club than when he does so in a political rally that is aimed to gain more people, to attract more folks, to establish policy. And all it has done is shed light. So I firmly believe that these comments need to be rejected, and specifically, they need to be rejected by President Trump himself.
Donald Trump this is not new about him, by the way. What he did last night is not a discovery. It is just more of the same and maybe more vivid than usual. Donald Trump spends full time trying to have Americans point their finger at each other. Fans the fuel of hate and division. And that's why people are exhausted with him. That's why people who formerly have supported Donald Trump, have voted for him, are supporting me, voting for me. People are literally ready to turn the page. They're tired of it. In terms of Puerto Rico, even when I was in the United States Senate, knowing that Puerto Rico does not have a United States Senator, I was intentional about doing what I could as a United States Senator to make sure that among my priorities, it included paying attention to the needs of the people on that island, including the aftermath of Hurricane Maria. I have announced also my plan that is about my opportunity economy writ large, but a specific target that will include a task force focused on the needs of Puerto Rico.
My friend made sure to call me to get my views this morning on what I think about last night's rally. I had this pin on my sweater and I took it off. I can't believe that comedian thinks that Puerto Ricans cross the border when we're American citizens. I can't believe that he thinks that all they know how to do is make babies. When I don't have any kids, I put my career first. I don't even depend on the system. I make too much money that I get denied if I go for any assistance. And then to call my island a garbage? I was born on the island. I was born in Cabo, Puerto Rico. Yep. In 6 months of birth, I was brought over here to the States and raised in the Bronx.
Let's talk about Puerto Rico and the comedian that decided to just decimate this beautiful place with his words after having experienced what must have been an aneurysm. Because Puerto Ricans are people that are filled with pride in their home, in their culture, in their religion, and particularly in their families. They are a very resilient group of people. During and after Hurricane Maria, where Be Strong and my partners at GEM sent 53 planes in and out, I experienced a resilience and a faith that everything was going to be okay as long as they were with their families, no matter what they had lost. And having rescued dogs there, having surfed there, having vacationed at beautiful resorts there, shopped there, experienced Old San Juan, had great cocktails there. It's a great and beautiful place that has definitely taken a beating at times, but that was a despicable comment. And to the Puerto Ricans, I am sorry, because no one should ever degrade someone else's home and make them feel shame about where they live. That was vile.
A lot going on. Like, I don't know if you guys know this, but there's literally a floating island of garbage in the middle of the ocean right now. Yeah. I think it's called Puerto Rico. Okay. All right. Okay. We're getting there. Again, normally I don't follow the national anthem, everybody.
Good morning. Hope everybody had their cafecito. Hope everyone's in good spirits and is positive and has good energy. It's my video, just sensational. It's like going viral. It's crazy. I just wanted to say, guys, vote for whoever you think. I'm not gonna again, I'm not a person that shoves things down people's throats at the end of the day. But what I'm gonna tell you is that I'm gonna vote for the person that speaks highly of God. The person that actually praises him. I think that already tells me, regardless of a person's past, we all have a past. We all are not saints. Let's stop pretending like we're all saints and stuff. I honestly feel like we need to go with who praises God the most. Who praises God the most? Who opens up the Bible the most? Who talks about positive things and to do good things? Like, everyone's just being so selfish on how they feel. We're not gonna always feel great. Not everyone's gonna make us feel great. At the end of all of this, all they want is to separate us. All they want is to separate us. I honestly feel Trump wants us to do the right thing. He's not trying to send back people, immigrants, just because. He wants people to enter the right way. And if someone's in danger and they need to come to America, to do it safely, because you don't understand how many kids we're missing. You don't question that. The lack of control. Do you understand that these kids were crossing over with no papers, with nothing to their names? No one knows nothing. If they disappeared, that's that. No one knows nothing because they crossed over undocumented. There's nothing.
Comments like that, does that change your perspective about who you might vote for?
No.
That's not enough.
I'd rather see it to believe it, you know. Everybody can actually find the words.
Fernando Santiago already cast his vote for former President Donald Trump.
Puerto Rico is a floating pile of garbage in the middle of the ocean. Primarily, I think it's really interesting that this analogy is being used in support of a campaign that refuses to acknowledge the literal garbage patches in the Pacific Ocean, because they refuse to acknowledge the corporate incentivized degradation of the environment or climate change or anything related to the sort. But that it's always the people actively dehumanizing Puerto Ricans on a national stage, using our poverty rates and our economic situation to disparage us, that refuse to discuss how we arrived to this point. Ever thought and wondered why, despite two parties being complicit in the political, social, and economic repression, the lack of acknowledgement, because I will say that I find it quite appalling that the Democratic National Convention did not mention Puerto Rico as a part of their agenda at all until there was an opportunity and a moment to seize. The United States of America, despite their clear lack of regard for the Puerto Rican people, fight tooth and nail to hold on to us, to make sure that the quote-unquote last colony in the world, debatable term, is kept under the US empire. Is it perhaps the multi-billion-dollar revenue stream that you make out of our occupation every year? Mexico is not a territory that arrived out of thin air, poor and underdeveloped. It is a territory that was invaded by the United States, a victim of a military dictatorship and the consequent artificial degradation of our economy to satisfy US corporate and political interests. Think about the debt. Have you thought 2 seconds to think about who this debt is owed to? The debt that has paralyzed development in Puerto Rico and that has geared all of our resources towards satisfying this repayment. Wall Street. Who's in power in Puerto Rico, overruling the say of the local elected officials, democratically elected by the Puerto Rican people? They go below what? A fiscal oversight management board. With who? With representatives from Wall Street. How did Puerto Rico even enter the United States imperial paradigm? Invasion, right? And after invasion, what was the first thing the United States did, besides the military dictatorship and the degradation of any kind of lasting democratic institution that was there? Devalue the local currency. It has always been an economic project. Devalue the local currency to 40% of a US dollar. What does that mean? Every Puerto Rican that had money in the bank, that had a property in hand, it was suddenly worth 60% less than it was before. From day to literally, a 10-minute video, a 20-minute video is not enough for me to outline every single policy and mechanism that the United States has undertaken to thwart the growth of the Puerto Rican people, to decimate our spirit, to decimate our culture, literally and figuratively, because in terms of population, there was a literal eugenic program that used Puerto Rican women as birth control lab rats, sterilizing them against their will with the legal rationale that this is somehow okay because we needed to control our too quickly growing brown and poor population.
Señor, por favor, te lo pido. Ábrele la mente a la gente. ¿Tú crees que tú me puedas ayudar? Porque ya yo me estoy volviendo loca.
Everyone is tripping about Tony Hinchcliffe making a joke about the island of trash we call Puerto Rico. Everyone's like, he's talking about Puerto Ricans, he's so racist. He's talking about the island, and they're being trash all over it because there's so much corruption. We're sending money down there for them to clean up their trash problem, but guess what? None of it's happening. Oh, because everybody's corrupt. Once you give them a little bit of money, they take their little bit they want, and they divvy it out to all their friends, and nothing gets done for the people. So yes, he's not a racist for calling Puerto Rico an island of trash. He's speaking facts. And if you do a little research, you'll see that. He's not calling Puerto Ricans the trash. He's calling the literal trash the trash. If you go there on a cruise, when you get out your cruise ship, the first thing you see is trash floating in the water.
Our Puerto Rican family is smart. They understand what a joke is and how to take one.
Here's why smart Puerto Ricans, like me, were not offended about the joke that was made about Puerto Rico being a garbage heap floating in the Atlantic at the Trump rally in New York, Madison Square Garden. Okay, let's explain it. Truthfully, There is a landfill problem in Puerto Rico. They don't recycle in Puerto Rico. They have a massive waste management problem in Puerto Rico. And because I knew of this, and I have family in Puerto Rico, and they would complain about this all the time, this joke landed for me. I was like, yeah, okay, he's not lying. And, you know, now, the problem is right away the Democrats want to be all about race, and they want to make this a racist thing, and they want to put Trump in the bucket of this guy that made this joke of racist. How about if you care so much about the environment, darling Democrat friends, that you would look into Puerto Rico and you'd see the problem that's happening there with the Trump.
Why are Republicans so nervous about the comments made at this Trump rally at Madison Square Garden? Well, it's because they targeted the very people in one of the very places that they need the most. I'm talking about the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. Remember, Pennsylvania is a place Joe Biden won by just 81,000 votes in 2020. Donald Trump won by just 44,000 votes in 2016. It's close. A joke about Puerto Ricans, okay? In Pennsylvania, there are around 600,000 Latino voters. In Pennsylvania, there are around 300,000 Puerto Rican voters. One thing you will notice about both of these numbers, they are way higher than 81,000. That was the margin in Pennsylvania last time. Pennsylvania has the third highest Puerto Rican population in the country. And it's just the number, it's where they are in the state. I can put this filter on and I could show you where this population is centered. And I'm gonna circle the counties here. The darker the shade you see on this map, the greater the Hispanic population. These 3 counties here, these 2 counties here, you'll notice that these counties, 3 went for Joe Biden, 2 went for Donald Trump. They're some of the swingiest in this swing Commonwealth. I'll focus on just a few of them right here. You can see everyone knows Joe Biden's from Scranton, Lackawanna County. Biden won Lackawanna County, but barely. He had 53%. Nearby Wilkes-Barre is a county that Donald Trump won, but not by that much. The real story told down here, you look at Berks County, it gets very close, almost 50-50. And in nearby Lehigh County, which is where Allentown is, people know the Billy Joel song, Allentown has often been seen as a key swing county in the entire country. Where Lehigh County goes, so goes America to an extent. Joe Biden got 53% here, increasing his margin that Hillary Clinton got in 2016. Lehigh County presses on 50% Hispanic population, large Puerto Rican population, so you can bet that the comments made at that rally are landing right here, one of the most crucial counties in the country.